OP poisoning or organophosphate poisoning is a very important question. So the organophosphates are usually used as a insecticide, and some of them include parathion, malathion, and difluos. So what are these organophosphates? To understand this, let us check where these drugs belong to in the classification. So we have the cholinergic drugs, which are divided as direct and indirect, and this indirect is again divided as irreversible and reversible group. So these OP poison belong to the irreversible type of cholinergic drugs. That is, OP poisons are irreversible anticholinesterase or indirect cholinergic drugs. So how are these anticholinesterase acting as cholinergic drugs? They inhibit the cholinesterase, which help. So these cholinesterase help degrade ACH. Thus, anticholinesterase indirectly increase the acetylcholine. Now this link is helping us easily learn the signs and symptoms of an OP poison. That is, the signs and symptoms will be that of cholinergic features. So let us look what all are they. There are mainly three types of signs and symptoms. They are the muscarinic, nicotinic, and central effects of the cholinergic drugs. So the muscarinic effect include increase of secretions like sweating, salivation, lacrimation, urination, and along with that bradycardia, or there can be bronchospasm. And coming to nicotinic effect, we can see twitching and fasciculations, and after that we see paralysis. Now coming to the central effect, we can see restlessness, confusion, coma, and convulsions. Now death in most cases can be due to respiratory failure. Now coming to the diagnosis, it is based on three key points. First of all, as usual, the history, and then the signs and symptoms, that are the three key features that we said before, and then we check the cholinergic activity in the blood. So these are the 3 points of the diagnosis. And next we have the treatment. So this is the most important part of the OP poisoning question. So we have the general measures and the specific measures. So first of all, let us look at the general measures that we do in the poisoning. So the first point is that we should remove all the contaminated clothes which may have the remnants of the poison, and then we should wash off the skin using soap and water, and then we should check for the airway and we should maintain the airway, and if required we should give artificial respiration, and then we can use diazepam IV in case of any convulsions, so to control the convulsions. Now we have said that it is a central effect of the OP poison. Now coming to the specific measures, these are the drugs particularly given for the case of OP poisoning. So we have atropine and oxime. Now the first drug that we give is atropine. So atropine is the first drug that is administered in case of OP poisoning. So how does this work? The mechanism of action. Now we know that OP poison is actually increasing the amount of acetylcholine. So this act as the acetylcholine act as a agonist for muscarinic receptor, and it cause increased firing of the muscarinic receptors. And then the atropine. Atropine is a antagonist to muscarinic receptor. To be specific, it is a competitive antagonist to the muscarinic receptor. So it nullify the effect, the muscarinic effect of the OP poisoning, that are the increased sweating, salivation, all the increased secretions. Now coming to the dosage, we can give atropine as 2 mg IV which is repeated every 10 minutes till the patient is atropinized. So, how can we say the patient is atropinized? An example is there will be fully dilated pupil. And after that, we also give a maintenance dose for about 1 to 2 weeks. So, that is the dosage. Now, we should note that atropine cannot reverse the neuromuscular paralysis. Why? Because it can only affect the muscarinic receptors. So for this, we use the help of the oximes. So what are these oximes? Coming to the oxime. In a simple sense, we can say that oximes are cholinesterase reactivators. Cholinesterase reactivators. An example are pralidoxime and obidoxime. Now about the mechanism of action. For this, we should know that the cholinesterase has two sites, an esteratic site as well as an anionic site. Now the OP poison is always binding to the esteratic site. Now what happened? The drug containing oxime binds to the anionic site, and the oxime part of the drug combine with the phosphate group, that is it dephosphorylate to form what is known as the oxime phosphate, oxime phosphate, as well as the free enzyme, that is the free cholinesterase. Thus, it releases the cholinesterase from the OP poison. Now, coming to the dose, we can either give pralidoxime as IV about 1 to 2 gram, or we can give the same pralidoxime as 30 mg per kg as a loading dose, and then later we give it as 8 to 10 mg per kg per hour as infusion till the recovery of a patient. So 30 mg loading dose and then 8 to 10 mg per hour infusion. Now note that oxime should be given before the enzyme, the esterase, loses an alkyl group, that is through a process known as aging. So the drug should be given as early as possible, and then it is ineffective against carbamate poisoning. And also the anticholinesterase activity is present in a mild form in the enzyme. So to summarize, we talked about OP poison. Example are parathione, malathione. So what is it? It is a irreversible anticholinesterase. So it have cholinergic features like muscarinic, nicotinic, central effect, like the increased secretions, the fasciculations, the convulsions, and then the diagnosis, and then the treatment, which include the general measures and specific measures, like the atropine, which is dosed as 2 mg IV repeated for 10 minutes, and then the continued dose. And coming to oxime like pralidoxime and opidoxime, which dephosphorylate the esterase, and then the dose. Now hey guys, in this video I have tried to explain all this concept in as shortest time as possible. Now do comment below if I need to decrease my pace and explain the concepts a little more elaborate. And also thank you for watching.